Well, we're hoping to put a little fun in your morning, a little spark, and you know what? It doesn't have to be naughty fun either. Shanna Husson is here. She is a registered dietitian with Theta Care. Good morning, Shanna.
Good morning.
So we've got a really delicious but heart-healthy recipe for you today, a blueberry almond coffee cake. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about blueberries. Blueberries and some of that bright fruit. We need to be eating more of that, right?
Yes. Blueberries and berries in general with those deep, dark, vibrant colors really have really great nutrients. Blueberries, many antioxidants, they're high in fiber, also many other vitamins and minerals in them.
So to jazz up your ordinary boring cereal, throw some fresh blueberries or some strawberries or raspberries on top, right?
Exactly.
So you know, it's not only looks pretty, it tastes good. What about some of these other products? Because we're talking heart healthy here. A lot of first of all, products have come a long way. These low-fat things actually taste really good. You don't even notice the difference.
I agree. And buttermilk is one of those things, we're going to be using this in our recipe today, that people think because it says buttermilk that it's high in fat, saturated fat, but it's actually quite low, and it really keeps a lot of moisture in your recipe.
So when you're baking and making cakes, and in this case we're going to make this coffee cake, buttermilk is great. I use it in a lot of recipes. And it's in smaller containers too. They even have little ones, so you don't have to buy a big thing of it. I make salad dressings with it. Tell me about these egg beaters. There's a lot of egg substitutes out there.
Yes, this is egg substitute, and what happens is they take that saturated fat out of the product and you're left with just the protein, but it works the same in the recipes.
And especially when you're baking and things like that.
Right.
Really, you don't notice the difference at all. Yogurt's a fabulous substitute for, you know, sour cream and mayonnaise and a lot of things, and this works great in this recipe.
Yep.
This happens to be plain.
Yes, and it is fat-free as well.
Heart disease, I think a lot of people think that's not a women's disease. They think men, you know, heart attack men. Not true, really.
No.
Women and heart disease, it's awful, actually, the numbers.
Yes, women, it's actually the #1 killer of women is heart disease. So we really have a lot of work to do as far as eating heart healthier.
And we're the ones a lot of time in the kitchen making the recipes, so I know I'm the queen of butter, I am, but it's really easy to make some simple substitutions, and I'm really excited about this coffee cake because I don't think I'm even going to notice that the butter's not in it. All right, let's get to the recipe. So first of all, we're going to do it in an 11 by 7 pan here. All right, let's get to the dry ingredients. I'll let you go ahead and throw those in there. So we've got some flour, and the exact amounts are on our website.
Exactly.
Some sugar. We have some sugar in here.
But not a lot.
Yep. Baking soda. And some salt. Now I've got the wet ingredients over here, and sometimes it's hard to find fresh blueberries, and one of my tips is these are frozen blueberries. You can always find those, but they can make your muffins or your coffee cake turn purple, so you have to really be careful with that. So drain them really well. As you can see, I've got the juice on the bottom, and then a great way to kind of keep the things from turning purple but also get those blueberries in there is toss those frozen blueberries. First of all, keep them a little bit frozen. Don't thaw them all the way, and toss them with a little flour. That way they won't sink to the bottom, and your muffins and your coffee cake won't turn purple.
Right.
All right, so let's get to the wet ingredients over here. All right, I've got buttermilk that we were just talking about. I've got some egg beaters. Some of the low-fat plain yogurt. Shanna, exercise. Is that also what you're telling a lot of your patients?
Yes, but one thing to look for is you can break it up into smaller segments that is just as efficient as doing a longer segment. So if you only have 10 minutes here or there, great. Go for a 10-minute walk, another one later on, and you're just as good as having that one big 20-minute segment.
That's a good tip, because I think a lot of people think that they need to get out there and run a marathon. And then it's not going to happen, you know?
Right,
I mean,
we're
you
busy.
fall off the wagon. So, you know, little steps. Go on a walk with your lunch hour, or, you know, do something like that. Now, we do have some oil in here. What's the oil of choice? What do you like people to be using? And this is baking, of course.
Yeah, there's been some recent studies. We always heard olive oil, which is still an oil oil of choice, but we're going to be using canola oil, and that is just as heart healthy as well. And some research has even shown that it's better for us than olive oil. So you can use either one interchangeably. And really the big take-home message as far as oils and plant fats goes is to try to focus on eating more plant-based fats and less animal fats.
Got it. So skip the vegetable oil for this one. Go for a canola oil.
Canola or olive, sure.
Okay. And then we've got some, we've all been smelling this all morning. A little bit of almond extract. I love that in there. Now, always when we do muffins and coffee cakes and things like that, we like to now do the wet into the dry so that we don't get rock hard coffee cake. So go like that. When we're thinking dinner and things at home, what are some things that we should really, when we're going to the grocery store, certain things that we should avoid, certain, things on labels and things like that?
One easy tip I like to tell people for the grocery store is try to stick to the outside perimeter of the grocery store instead of the mid section where all of those processed convenience foods are, and try to consume at least half your grocery cart those whole, fresh foods.
So stick to the produce section.
Produce, fresh meats, fresh dairies, lots of fruits and vegetables. And when you're plating your food as well, if you can try to remember to make half of your plate fruit or vegetables, a quarter lean meat and a quarter starch or a high fiber starch of some kind. That's a good rule of thumb.
I think one of the problems we do too is the portion size.
Yes.
We're not saying give up steak, or we're not, because that's something that I just couldn't do. But you don't need a whole steak,
right? All foods in moderation.
Yeah, I think that's a serving size. Is something that especially those of us Americans, you go to other countries and they don't have the take-home bags that we do, and just the portions are huge. All right, so I'm just going to toss those blueberries in, and I don't really want to break them up. I just want to keep them just like this. And this is kind of the fun part of this recipe. We've got some almonds. Our almonds are really good for you because I love dark chocolate covered almonds.
They are, and nuts are another one of those foods that get a bad rap, and we used to think we had to stay away from nuts, but again, it's that healthy plant-based fat that's heart healthy for us. Again, you want to watch this portion size. Usually it's about a quarter of a cup, which is a handful.
So sprinkle some nuts on your salads and, great on this coffee cake.
Right. And they bring so much flavor, just a small amount.
I agree. It's a great way to get you to eat salads is sprinkle a little bit of fruit on your salad, and some raspberries or even some dried fruit and some nuts, and all of a sudden a boring salad turns, like something fun.
And that little bit of protein and fat really helps to keep you full longer as well.
That's a good tip. All right, so just spread this out.
Looks delicious.
I know, it really does, and it smells wonderful. And then we're going to sprinkle with the almonds. What's another nut besides almonds that's really, we'd like us to be eating more of?
Sure, just about any nut. Walnuts, cashews, sunflower seeds, peanuts, they all have that healthy plant-based fat.
Sprinkle a little sugar just because it'll make it look pretty, and those nuts. This goes into a preheated 350-degree oven, and it only takes about 30 minutes to make, and wait till you see how gorgeous it looks. We got to have a piece of this.
I've been waiting all morning to try this.
Look at this. Those nuts get nice and toasted on top. Looks fabulous. Shanna, thank you so much. I'm going to cut it up. We'll both dig in.
It's great to be here.
We'll be right back. Recipes on our website. Yum.